Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Willow Rose Moon Dancer and I make videos here on YouTube, and I also have a blog called wiccans.wicked.com. Little disclaimer for today, I am in a new setting because the guy who lives up above me is playing really loud music, and it's much louder in my bedroom where I normally film compared to in here in my living room. My cats are also in the living room, so you might get a little feature from them. Mango, skedaddle! Regardless, today we are going to be continuing talking about starseeds. Something that we haven't discussed is the origins of where your soul is from. So when you're a starseed, you obviously know, if you've seen my other videos about starseeds, that there are three main types. There's the indigo child, the crystal child, and the rainbow child. But all of these starseeds, their souls had to come from a certain planet. And so today we're going to discuss the various different planets or systems that your soul could be from originally. We're also going to talk about what exactly I mean by origin, and we are going to discuss how to find your origin. So, first, let's talk about what I mean by origin. So, I had this conversation with my dad, and he was kind of confused by what I meant because in his mind, all of our souls originate from the universal energy source. And yes, that is 100% true. I agree completely. However, there had to be a certain point when your piece, your soul, your piece of the universal energy source incarnated itself into a living being for the very first time. And depending on where that little piece of the universal energy source manifested itself tells you whether or not you're a starseed. So if your piece of the universal energy source incarnated into a human here on Earth first, then no, you are not a starseed. However, if it incarnated first on a different planet, then you would be a starseed. So that's what I mean by origin. Yes, we all originate from the universal energy source, but that piece had to come into existence in a living being for the very first time at some point. So now I have a list, a very extensive list of different origins that your soul could come from. I'm going to be reading it off my paper here, so excuse me if I'm not making very much eye contact. And I'm going to try my best to pronounce all of these properly. So, you could be an Andromedan, you could be a Sirian, you could be a Lyran, you could be a Draco, you could be a Pleiadian, you could be an Arcturian, you could be an Orion, you could be a Hyades, you could be a Zetas, you could be an Adhara, you could be an Ivius, you could be a Kignians, you could be a Maldek, you could be an Ophiacian, you could be an Iridianians, that was a hard one, Iridinians, you could be a Blue Avian, you could be a Pivilla, you could be an Apollonian, you could be a Spica, you could be a Rolivencian, you could be an Alpha Centaurian, you could be an Regulus, you could be a Liakish, you could be a Lepus, you could be a Carina, you could be a Perseus, you could be an Ara, you could be a Rokencrian, you could be an Iharian, you could be a Hathorian, and you could be a Vagan. Since I don't know if I pronounced all those right, I will leave this list down below in the description box so you can see the spelling, so you can do your own research, if you will. So now we need to talk about how you can find your origins. There is multiple ways to do this. From what I gathered, most people find theirs through meditation. I was doing a lot of YouTube research, and I'll leave any resources I have down below in the comments as well. And some people even seem to be able to, I don't know exactly how to put it, but it almost seems like they astral project or channel themselves to the place where these beings exist and are able to somehow communicate with them. I don't know how much I personally believe that is true. I'm sure they think that that's true, but I don't know if I think that's actually what's happening. But I will leave that up for you to decide. So if you feel that you are capable of doing that, that is one method that you could use. But as I said, meditation seems to be the general consensus. If you're really good at meditating already, you could do this independently. I myself am not good at meditation, so if I were to do this method, I would use a guided meditation. I did find a guided meditation on YouTube for this specifically, and as I said, I'll leave it down below. I haven't used it myself because I used a different method, but hopefully it will help you if this is the method you choose. Something else that I read is that some people are just able to look up into the night sky and use their intuition to feel where they are most connected to. I think this is a really great option. One thing that I would be sort of hesitant about with it is that most people, not all, but most people are a hybrid of a couple or a few of these. I know I am. So I feel like if you look up into the sky, you might be able to find the, hi Mango, you might be able to find the star system that you most connect with, but I feel like you wouldn't necessarily find the place that you originate from if that's not the place that you connect from. And I feel like you also wouldn't be able to know all of the other places that you have incarnated from. Also, I think my upstairs neighbor just turned up his music again, so I apologize if you are hearing it. However, I just realized I left the cat fountain on, so that might be overpowering the noise of his music anyway. Then you can also do a tarot spread. This is one of the methods that I used to figure out where I am from. I will leave the picture of the spread somewhere on the side here for you to look at. However, the picture does not include what each card does, if I remember properly, like what each card represents. So I'll read them to you as I have my reading right here, and I also made a blog post about my reading, so I will leave that in the comments as well. Lots of resources in this one, I suppose. So card 1 in the spread represents your primary elemental / spiritual or physical attribute of the world you originate from. Card 2 is what are the core beliefs of the system that you're from. Card 3 is what are the goals as a world in regard to the universal mission and state of being. Then there is card 4, and that one talks about what is unique about your world. Card 5 is why you incarnated on Earth. Card 6 is what you seek to achieve in this incarnation. Card 7 is what lesson are you learning in this life that carried on from a past life, or from your last life specifically. Card 8 is what behaviors should you avoid in this life that could hinder your goal. And card 9 is what behaviors should you adapt to aid in your development in this life. And card 10 is what message does my star family have for me today? So I will, like I said, leave the link to my blog post about this tarot spread down below so you can check it out and be able to figure it out for yourself. But yeah, and then the last method, which ended up being the confirming method for me. So when I did the tarot spread, I felt like I connected to Orion and the feline race. Those were the two that I felt that were prevalent. And then I did this method. I discovered that there is a way that some people are able to read birth charts to figure out your origin. I am not skilled, nor do I know how to find the information on how to read my birth chart in such a way. And so on Etsy, I found a person who offered to find your origin. Well, first to tell you if you were Starseed at all, and if you were, what out of the 3 main types you were. And then also your origin. It doesn't tell you any other incarnations that you had on any other planets, just your origin. And you could get that for like $2. A little bit less, honestly. At least in Canadian money. I'm Canadian. So if you're in the US, it's probably cheaper, I think. But yeah, and so she confirmed that I was a crystal child, and she told me that my origin was from Andromeda. And that was great, and I sat on that for a bit, and I did some research, and I just really felt like there was information missing, because while I did connect with some things from Andromeda, there's a lot of stuff that didn't exactly line up that I felt must have been influenced by other incarnations. So I paid her for the full package, which was around $30 in Canadian. So once again, cheaper, obviously, if you're from the US. And essentially that tells you all of your incarnations on different planets and how many incarnations you had on in each of those systems. And it also told you some other stuff that was relevant. I'm trying to remember something about the Lilith. There's something on your birth chart about Lilith, and she told me about that. Overall, there was just a whole bunch of information. I will once again leave a link down below to her Etsy so you can see for yourself all the different things that she can tell you about. And she does other readings other than just Starseed birth chart readings. And what I learned was that I had 6 incarnations on Andromeda, and that it was where I first originated from. And then I incarnated on Arcturia, I believe. I'm Arcturian. For 4, I believe, incarnations. And then I had 1 carnation on Hyades, which are a feline race. So that's where the feline race comes from. And if you don't know anything about the Andromedans or the Arcturians, they are very much full of wanderlust. And especially the Andromedans, they are essentially nomads. A lot of them are. And so it, to me, makes sense that I would be so connected to Orion because either I've traveled there, I've visited there a lot, or my soul has plans to go to Orion, because I really do feel that I am connected to Orion. But yeah, that is my story on how I found my origin. And the last thing I want to discuss is just the plan for this series. I would be really interested in doing research on all of these different races and making videos about them. I know I've started doing that on my blog. So far, I've talked to the Andromedans. I talked about the Andromedans, sorry, and the Arcturians. But I know that reading blogs isn't everyone's cup of tea. As someone who writes blogs, I don't really read them. I much prefer gaining my knowledge from YouTube videos. So if you would like to learn about all these races in a video format, please let me know down below in the description. I would love to do some videos like that. Also maybe incorporate either having my makeup pre-done in that race's kind of like look, how I would interpret it, or even do my makeup while doing the video. I think that would be fun, so let me know if you have a preference to one of those down below. But yeah, that is all for today's video. Sorry about the change in scenery, my little visitor, and any background noise. But yeah, make sure you check out my blog, wickenstartwicked.com. I make posts, 2 times a week, one on Wednesday and one on Friday, and make sure you subscribe to me here because I make videos every Monday and Thursday. And until next time, blessed be.